Ooh. Hello everyone and welcome to the Outdie Weekly. We are going to be getting into the matchup in just a bit, and it will be Ranger versus Nuks, so Protoss versus Zerg to start things off, and will be very much a battle of the champions coming our way very soon. It's going to be really interesting to actually note to see how this one is going to unfold between our two players, and well, it's gonna be really interesting to see how this is gonna be panning on out when a lobby is set up. I'll be like invite to lobby whenever ready. Nuts. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, it's Mr. Chappie. Oh my god, my messenger's still on. So, yeah, we are gonna be getting into the matchup in just a bit, and we are gonna be going into our game. Seems like they'll have a little bit of audio issues, but it should be a-okay after a bit. Yeah, there you go, just fixing things up. And we are gonna be going to be getting into our round one. Sorry about a little bit of not too much energy right now, but we are gonna be getting into the matches really soon. Can't really wait for this one to unfold in front of us. And the Outdie Weekly, if you guys need to check out the information on that tournament, well, it is an SE8 tournament hosted all the way from Vietnam, and they do show on up every Saturday to bring in you the best of the best, sometimes in SEA. We got 14 participants, I believe, right now into our set. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. Yeah, we have 14 people playing in our bracket right now, and we are gonna be going into Eternal Empire to start things off. So it seems like we are already set and ready to go to get into map number 1, and it's pretty hype actually to see how this one is gonna unfold between the two of us. And we are good to go. Just let's get straight into the game. Let's go into the matchup. Let's go see how this one's gonna unfold. You can't go wrong with Eternal Empire. You can't go wrong with a map pick like this. You can't go wrong with getting into the game immediately. Don't want to interrupt these players, as we are gonna go for speed again into our broadcast. So it's a little different from the quarantine setup that we usually do. Instead of asking for the map picks and map pads, we just go straight into what we got. And yes, sir, in our best of 3, we are going to be hitting Eternal Empire to start things off. This is going to be round 1 of the Outdie Weekly. Winner will be moving on. Loser will go home. Has to compete next week yet again. Again, looking for a little bit of the slice of the pile at $40 prize pool plus OSC points up for grabs. Seems like both of our players are ready to go. Let's get it on, let's get it done, and let's get into the match. So hello, ladies and gentlemen, and honestly, a wake-up call here for me, and we are going to be getting into the action here in the Outdie Weekly number 34. So, it's time to sit on down and get into the matchup, as here we go on our first map. And it is going to be Eternal Empire housing these players, these two champions of the Outdie. Let's get the introductions out of our way. Introducing first, on the top right of Eternal Empire, it's our red Zerg, Nuks. And his opponents, on the bottom left side of Eternal Empire instead, it's our blue Protoss, Ranger. So a little bit of a matchup coming on all the way from the SEA games. It's Malaysia versus Philippines coming into this one, and both sides having a lot of momentum coming their way, that's for sure. Nuks, the recent champion of the Quarantine Masters Plus bracket, beating back someone like Ender's Capacity in a 3-1 victory, and has been a champion of the Outdie Weekly. On the other hand, on the other side, specifically here for Ranger, he's been on a resurgence, been streaming a lot, and he has been the champion of the Outdie Weekly for the past 2 out of 3 times. So he was champion last time, and he was champion last time, so it really goes to show Ranger's having a lot of success. It's very interesting to see this matchup already at the first round. Battle of the Champions is a big matchup at the first round, but only can one stand tall, and only one can keep things up along the way. Hopefully our stream is a-okay and we are all set and ready to go, as we are really just opening our eyes to get into some StarCraft action. Did you hear that? That is just a ramp up, ladies and gentlemen. So I started things off like, oh my god, I'm just really tired, really sleepy, and just seeing these names, seeing this potential upcoming StarCraft 2 game coming our way. Well, I'm very excited to see what is going to be happening right now. So in the PvZ, we are going to be seeing a myriad of different strategies from our two players, but we already see the two bases set on up by both Nuks as well as Ranger. We are going to get Metabolic Boost online, no Carapace as of yet. Going to be looking for some speed instead. Onto the ground, the Adept getting walked on in by the Gateway. Chrono boosted up as well to provide some little bit of pressure, a little bit of damage, as well as some harassment and some defense along the way. Anyway, though, Probe already gets caught by those two Lings. And Ranger gonna be looking to work on to the natural. In behind all of this, he will go straight into Twilight Council. But oh my, Nuks able to infiltrate. Just happy to get on the inside. Well, this one Ling might be able to cause some havoc here and there. The Adepto trying to go for the chase on to a few of the other Lings. On the third base we go, and Nuks is looking to play a little more on the macro side. And he will just be basically defending with Lings as well as Queens for quite a while. Now, a few discussions here and there with a few pro players here and there. And the PvZ Metabolic Boost, sure, very strong, but at the same time not as essential as like something like a ZVT, because you do want to go for the swarm, you're going to go for the surround, but it's not really the speed of your opponent that does matter. All you need to do to defend against things like the Adepts, you want to be able to connect those bases and make sure that you have pathways to get on through to the other side. And that's what Nuks is up to. He wants to connect all these three bases already. He didn't go for the third base expansion immediately. He stays on to the natural first. It's a more of a standard progression there from our Zerg player. And he kind of wants to play it more safe, and yep, it's up to you guys to get the pause on. We are not referees whatsoever, and we are just here to bring you guys the action in the Die Weekly. House wire is stuck. Oh, that's so painful. Sometimes it's like, oh no, my mouse is stuck. It gets in the way. No problem. I'm just obs. Yeah, let's go back into this one. I wish even as obs there was a way to like send at least one or two messages to the players, be like, we're good to go, don't worry. We're just here, guys. We are just here to watch and here to enjoy. And speaking of enjoy right now, seems like Ranger gonna be enjoying a little bit of base formation here and there. Sends up the depths already into the front line, and in the meantime, it's Gateways right now being warped on in yet again by Ranger, really trying to farm things up as well as have a lot of sustain in that army count into the front line, forming up a big part of that wall. And on the other side, it seems like Nuks is going to be looking to play a little bit of the Roach action instead. He's going for the Lair Tech, will be looking to play into Reconstitution later on. But already, Ranger bringing in the action, has 4 of these Adepts inside the Warp Prism. And this might be the mass depths with the Twilight Council to boot. He already went for Glaives, and here comes more and more of that trouble. Nuks though sees exactly what's going on, and he will try to get in the way in the first place. Now these Roaches, very good units to keep things up, to keep up the pressure. Ranger though is trying to get onto the natural, and he will play the aggressor. Even with the Glaives, he is going to try to get the DPS. All 4 drones have already gone down, and the transition to the main base is in order. Can the Adepts though get on through? Not really the best trade honestly here for Ranger, as Nuks will be able to clean that one up quite quickly. One Adept though going to be into that main mineral field, getting the scouting information that he needs. Sees absolutely nothing. In the meantime, the Roach Warren gonna be going for their Constitution. Movement speed is the key here for Nuks in terms of his mobility through his 3 bases. All about connecting that creep in one, as well as making sure that these Roaches can really pack in the punch even if they are off creep. Leave a few upgrades here and there to help things out here for Nuks. In the meantime, Ranger looking to transition to a 3rd base. Zings though, always in the way, such a good tool of disruption, and honestly, if left unchecked, they can really tear apart a middle line or two. Anyway though, in the meantime, Roach is moving on around. Well. Another untapped opening here from Ranger, finding a little bit of punishment onto the other side. The only thing to note though is Nuks is almost triple on that army count, and he is looking raring to go. Warp Prism now trying to get on away, and well, for Nuks, if he gets to catch him this Warp Prism, he can just really punish his opponent with impunity. But their Constitution are going to be online very soon. This one Link taking care of the Warp Gate, it really is trying its best, that's for sure. But Ranger needs to get out of dodge and make sure that he can defend this, because Nuks is moving on at a really huge army here for our Zerg player, and this just might be a one-way trip here for Nuks to begin with. Ranger right now will try to respond with the Immortal, but honestly, in terms of that numbers, it's absolutely sheerly overwhelming. Nuks right now with 27 of those roaches, trying to get the push on the corrosive bile to break down the force field, and on to the potential third base we go. Ranger desperate to try and get the reinforcements on, but this is just gonna be the numbers in favor of Nuks right now, destroying every little bit on the other side. Immortal not gonna get picked up, the other one will stay alive. It's a desperate endeavor here for Ranger to try and keep things up, especially with the shield batteries, but the pylons now getting focused down. Here comes Nuks though, trying to get on through. Still some really good micro here from Ranger, trying to maximize the damage potential from the Immortal, trying to save the day, but eventually the Warp Prism has to back on. Now they need to plug that hole. It's not gonna happen. The Roaches finally got out in. Here comes the Force Field that now set on up, and this Artosis Pylon might be the saving grace for Nuks in this push. He wants to go for the push. He wants to get on through to the other side. Stalkers right now getting one in again, and in behind. The Roaches have already infiltrated. A quick transition here for Nuks, going on to the natural. 11 probes have gone down, and this is gonna be the Philippine scene looking to show on up with the Zerg race yet again. All of that front line will be gone with that pylon going down, and victory goes over to Nuks. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, our first game here in our bracket. Absolutely ridiculous stuff to start things off, and well, we're just looking pretty good so far. And yeah, so that's our first game done and dusted, guys. Nuks with the victory, and we're just waiting for our next lobby to show on up. And I'm just excited. I'm just excited that we had such a good game, and Simulacrum apparently gonna be game number 2 for this one. But Nuks, decisive victory on game number 1. Will he be able to do it again for this second bout? Can he actually decron Ranger already at the very start? Seems like my cat needs to go on the outside, but hey, it is what it is. And it's time right now to get into the action, get into our game. Seems like both sides are ready to go. And yep, yes, cat, of course you're gonna be meowing when we're broadcasting some StarCraft too. But oh, Mr. Ranger is not here yet. Let's invite him in real quick. Invite to game. Hopefully he is a-okay. Oh, I think he's fixing a few things here and there. So yeah, give me a sec, guys, as we move into our second map here. Go with our map screen. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Eternal Empire taken by... Ready. Yes, we're all ready to go. Don't worry about it, guys. So, Eternal Empire will be taken by Nuks. Simulacrum gonna be our second map of this one. If Nuks is able to take this victory, well, we are really gonna be seeing a new champion for this one. A lot of upset potential, a lot of potential matches coming our way. I'm really excited to see how this one is gonna be unfolding, because Nuks right now on match points, a decisive victory with a big army, really utilizing it to the fullest. But let's get it done, and let's get into the match. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and our Zerg player right now one map ahead after a decisive victory on Eternal Empire. Will it be the same thing here on Simulacrum, and will we get a new champion coming into this bracket? We're going to be finding things out a lot as we move into our second map of today. This is our first match right now, our round 1 match in a 14-man bracket. I'm happy to be bringing you guys the action as here we go, getting into the action. Introducing first, on the bottom right of Simulacrum, it's our red Zerg player again, from the Philippines, one map ahead, a former champion of the Alday, champion of the Quarantine Tournaments, and really looking to make a big splash with all the momentum that he has. It's our red Zerg, Nuks. We talk about Nuks so much, about his momentum, and it is really just it just feels like it's a rolling thing that is making the best pizza, that kind of thing. It's a cheese wheel trying to go down the hill. It is because this guy is completely on point right now and doing so well. But he does have a good, tough opponent against him. On the other side of Simulacrum, on the top left corner, it's our blue Protoss, the defending champion of the Oddeye Weekly. 2 out of 3 of the last ones taken by the Malaysian player. It's Ranger. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. Another match in this bracket and another goal into this matchup. So we do see Nuks going for that hatch first, wants to play a little bit of macro, and seems like he has decided to go back to a more macro-oriented style lately into his tournaments. Very commendable. He did have some foray in some really early aggression, and if I remember correctly from my history of the Philippine scene, I've seen Nuks really play the macro so well to get such a big advantage, as we have noticed from the first game. But how Nuks already have that hatchery set on up, gonna have a number of drones working for this one. Ranger in the meantime looking to saturate for this first base and trying to build up that second nexus with a chrono boosted attempt to start things off. So it seems like it's gonna be a little different already. A Ranger goes immediately for the Stargate by the 2-minute mark, and he wants to play the aggressor. He wants to play a little bit of that harassment, especially with the Oracle and the Phoenix, to really take control of many aspects of this matchup. Now with the Oracle Phoenix, you can go for the Overlords, you can go for the drones, and really just make sure that your opponent is being respectful, because if you don't go for the harassment with the air, then you want to play aggression in the ground. If you do neither, well, a Zerg can just drone on up as much as he would like, get as many bases as much as he would like, and you don't want that whatsoever. The Zerg swarm in full numbers is not a good way to deal with things, but hey, it is what it is. Anyway though, Ranger right now gonna be sending in 2 adepts actually, and he will be going for Warp Gate already. Metabolic boost though, gonna be online, will be very helpful, especially with these connected bases. Seems like for Nuks, yeah, 7 of these Zerg, is one of them already going for the scout and immediately getting taken down. Queen in position as well. Nuks is working for some creep threat here and now. In the meantime though, Brawl already on the low ground, and the adepts are so tanky in a matchup like this. Look for some pokes. The Shades trying to make it through. It's the Sion transfer. Such a good tool of harassment, but it's not gonna happen because the Zerg is already in place, and the Queen can easily reinforce with a creep in check. With harassment, my name is Ranger, and Nuks immediately going for the extractor, seeing the Oracle coming away of the drone. Good positioning though with the Queens getting in the way, and what a surround right now from Nuks. Ranger gonna be losing out on 1 make that 2 adepts pretty quickly. And even though Ranger tried to go for the corner to mitigate some damage, it just wasn't enough. Good call there from Nuks to find the surround in time. And this is gonna be a Zerg player. It's looking really good at the very start. 3 base unpunished, always a dream for our Zerg. And with 3 base, he can really do any kind of build that he would like. He's going for the melee +1 already, so this might be the Spire play coming our way, mealess. So good for the harassment and just a transition to later game units if need be. Anyway though, still Ranger going for a 3rd base actually, and in the meantime, the Oracle gonna go for the Stasis Ward instead onto this ground. It gets the stun onto a bunch of them, well, it's 2 of these Oracles actually, going for the Stasis Field Infliction. And while it slows things down just a little bit, still not the biggest. It's only a few drones there taken, especially the Queen. So it does hamper Nuks by just a little bit, but honestly, Ranger looking for a little more value there. Anyway though, seems like Nuks has an Overlord in position onto the north side of this map. And he's looking pretty cheeky. He wants to do something with this, that's for sure. Anyway though, Ranger right now working together to really build up on pylons. Here we go though, with a really good formation here from Ranger. He has the adepts in between the shield battery and the pylon, making sure that those are going to be very, very tanky against a Zergling run on by. Both sides really respecting one another. A lot of responses in terms of what they're doing. A really good start, honestly, for these two players, and I'm really, really sad to say that one of them are going to be saying goodbye immediately after this match because they have woken up and are completely on points. They have responded to one another so quickly, and interesting enough, Ranger has 3 of these oracles to provide a lot of fire support and some revelation and stasis ward antics. And we'll see though if Ranger can really get some value with these oracles because in mass numbers, honestly, they can really pack quite a punch. Now, one thing to note for Nuks, he doesn't have a Spore Curler as of yet on that 3rd base, so he does need to make sure those queens are in position. And that is something Ranger can really punish into this one. Going on to the more north side, 1 drone, 2 drones already go down, but this oracle might get traded. Survives by a little bit, that queen in station to find a way to actually get things through, but it just doesn't happen. Now Nuks turning that Overlord into an Overseer. We are going to get the Baneling Nest here for Nuks as well. And it really feels like this might be some Spire play into this one. But as I say that, it's a Roach Ward instead, getting the Reconstitution. So he has the resources to go for the Spire play, but he chooses to go for the ground-based composition instead. Can't really go wrong with that, honestly. It's quite potent, and especially if you mix things up with some Ravagers all on the board, you're going to be able to get some really, really good credence into this one. Anyway, though, for Ranger, +1 onto melee, onto ground weaponry actually, as well as charge lots coming our way. Seems like it's our tried and tested charge lot Archon composition, and Ranger just wants to play it in bulk and wants to be as strong as he can be into the front line. Nuks though, trying really, really, really hard to add things up and go for more and more of these bases. Anyway though, set up yet again. Revelation right now, seeing exactly what's going on into this map. And well, it's the breed right now, getting the hamper on, and will get taken down quite soon. So for Nuks, he just wants to have a little more space to work with. He doesn't want to be in the tightest of all funnels to go for the brawl, but he could have used that as well for some Ravagers into the future to get the battle to connect properly. Banelings right now will get morphed on in instead to really face off against any kind of composition. The Ranger is seeing every little bit and more. Intel is completely on point. What does Nuks know about his opponent? He knows 3 bases afoot. He knows that there is going to be production coming the way of Ranger. But he might not know that Templar Archives are gonna be the call. He can assume it already. He does have a lot of know-how to begin with, and shard lots getting exposed pretty early there onto the southwest side might be able to just confirm that the composition has been chosen. Here we go right now with the Lynx trying to go for a skirmish. The Archons have made their debut. The big blue balls of energy are there to stay and are there to slay. So it seems like, yes, the Spire play has come online. We do see the Spire onto that 3rd base. Might be a little dangerous, but it seems like for Nuks, he's trying to make sure that Ranger is going to be keeping his toes on to figure out which attack, which base he will actually get out in the first place. Oh no, the Stasis Ward, absolutely huge. These Lings are going to be waking on up just for a reckoning, just to die. Psionic Storm is online, but I don't think Ranger will want to expose that as of yet. And the surround is coming. Here we go right now with some free kills yet again. But Nuks in the meantime taking advantage of the commotion, and he will take that low ground fight. Baneling's going to be in position here and there. Oracle's getting chased after by the Mutalisk. And it's going to be big army versus big army. Nuks with a small advantage here and now. And he's trying to make it through with those Mutalisks, and he's finding opportunities like this Artosis Pylon, sadly left behind by Ranger. It's a good block there by Nuks to start things off. And Ranger in the meantime already wanting to punish to go for the front line instead. Now that's going to be production being hampered, and I don't really see a War Prism right now into this attack. Force Wheels though into play, making such a big wall. Good wall here from Ranger right now, mitigating the army advantage, the damage, and the Psy Storm will connect onto the Mutas in behind. Huge stars right now for Ranger, just cascading through the hatchery, and it can be anyone's here, but Nuks right now even up on the army count. What value there from Ranger. Eventually though, still it is gonna be the Zerg player, the Zerg Swarm standing tall and proud, but for how long? That's gonna be the real question. Stalkers right now brought on in again. The Archon will go down. Nuks in the meantime bleeding heavily, but Ranger is ending up the same. War Prism though set on up And this might be the space given up already. Banelings onto the high ground we go, and +1 coming the way of Nuks to try and reinforce that damage. But +2 within 10 seconds is gonna be a big game changer here for Ranger. He will just be able to outclass all the HP, outclass all the damage, and he will be able to take the lead in terms of that DPS department, especially as well as the pressure onto this forward base. But the Banelings right now looking for prime targets, some good AoE on the way, rolling on around at the speed of sound. Eventually they burst themselves onto the Stalkers. Here comes the Ravagers though coming online. Ranger cannot keep his Warp Prism set up. He has a spare just in case, but he will be running on away as Nuks is able to defend, and again the army advantage goes back in favor of our Red Zerg. It's ridiculous how Nuks is able to basically take the lead yet again, but he doesn't have any reserves whatsoever now. That's only the only problem. Earlier on, he had to go for the fight there, but huge stars from Ranger really keeping him alive. Ability usage for a Protoss player is such a key component, and right now it is Ranger fighting for his life, especially with his high temps, but Nuks having the bigger army already going into natural. Here comes the Graviton Beam, still good control here from Ranger to try and get things done, but the Bile will connect easily onto these stationary targets, and every little pickoff is hurting Ranger so badly. Can he survive? Can he actually get things done? It's so big, it's so insurmountable here for Nuks right now with almost 5 times the army count, and well, he's gonna be shutting down this most outpermost base. Onto the third base we go yet again. Nuks right now retreating onto the right hand side, trying to stay alive for the time being. Roach's Ravagers will be saying, okay, let's go for a little bit of reconvene. Let's make sure everyone is fine and dandy. Is Sally here as Mr. Randy the Roach and Ravi the Ravager. Are we good to go? Seems like though this is gonna be a Magic School best trip as waiting to happen, and Ranger knows his demise is coming. Desperate to try and get reinforcements. Gonna be going on the outside, and last time he was able to bail things out with the High Templar Psionic Stars. Will he be able to do the same? More Motas are being brought along for the ride, and he needs more of them against these Roaches and the Ravagers. Archons trying to go for an attack as well, but the Zealots immediately torn apart at the very opening. High Temp right now being juggled along by the Warp Prism. Here we go with the Bile right now connecting. Huge storm already onto the core, but it's still not enough. Desperate endeavor for Ranger. He's gonna be plugging the leak with the Zealots, but GG is called, and Nuks will decrown Ranger immediately on round number 1. We are gonna get a new champion here. And well, Ranger putting up such a good fight. I wouldn't be surprised to see him compete really well into our next All Die Weekly. Well played there to Nuks, taking that series 2-0. Not even gonna get a third map, ladies and gentlemen, and immediately our champion has been decrowned. A very worthy competitor though. Honestly, you could say he is a king in his own rights, and it's gonna be pretty interesting to see who's gonna be our next lobby, who's gonna be next on the list here for the All Die Weekly. So we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna ask Quantel, Nameless can stream. Maybe we can do round number 2, Nameless versus Uplay next, and it's gonna be pretty interesting. But we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the All Die Weekly number 34.